Yes, yes, yes. The dope game easier than a motherfucker, but the rap game. How y'all doing out there, yo? It's Emos the Witness, and I'm back for another live episode of the Field Show. As you know, it stands for What the Fuck I Look Like. And as you know, there's a new hot political show that we're trying to bring to you live, where we dig into the criminal aspects of politics and all the deception. You can get you downtown at 120 East Market Street, where you can get you a show as well. Also Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And most importantly, on a new website's being launched pretty soon, emostowitness.com. Downtown with my man Malik at Wave One Media, one of the hottest new entertainment media businesses out here. Come out here and get you a show. So we're going to wind down here and get to the background music and dig into the issues of the day. Like I said, this is Emos the Witness. This is the Field Show, you guys. This is a show that I started probably about 6-7 months ago. A project that I kind of created myself based on some of the things I've seen in the past regarding the 2016 election, 2020 election, and some of the attacks on our economy, attacks on our Constitution, attacks on our beliefs and values and traditions. No matter what side of the aisle you fall on, I think that we as Americans, we need to take this time and come together, take this moment to look at what's been going on the past 5 years with a lot of the deception, and I'm talking in particular about, this past 2020 election. I think there was a lot of deceit going on with the voting rights, with the voting laws being changed last minute, and it really riled me up to the point where I think that we don't have a voice as a people. We watch the mainstream media kind of slant and bend things their way or for their intentions. Again, no matter what side you're on, it was definitely something where it wasn't objective. And you start seeing the rise of social media. You start seeing the rise of different viewpoints, alternative media besides the mainstream come about. But within that same process, you've seen a level of censorship from our big tech giants. As you express yourself over time, as politicians express themselves over time, you start seeing a restriction of what you can read, what you can see. Again, forming that scope where the narrative is to their interest, to their liking. What about you? What about your thoughts? What about you getting a full grasp of the news? And anybody who is wide-eyed and had the time to really view these things, you want to speak up about them because it's important. And so Emos the Witness came about as an alternative ego of myself, and I said, hey, let me go ahead and speak my truth, my voice. Let me push back. And I think it's important. I think that anybody out here who has an interest in their family and their family's future should really dig into what's going on right now in America. We have economic issues, we have immigration issues. We have constitutional issues. Our freedom of speech, our freedom of protest, our right to bear arms are under attack. I'm not kidding. We saw that. And then there's a level of censorship where you can't really get your voice out the way you really want it. So I'm hoping to be a second voice. I'm hoping to be a referee, a guide, a witness. And we all together become witnesses. Reading through these issues, these articles, these topics, holding our politicians accountable, our leaders in Hollywood, in business, in big business. Because believe it or not, America has a bright future. We always had a bright future. We're a great melting pot. But at the same time, we have to make sure we keep our checks and balances intact. We have to have rule of law. We can't have anarchy. We can't have, things that are common sense being ignored. Now, I'm full disclosure. I voted for President Trump. I voted him in 2016, and I voted for him in 2020. Like I said, in 2016, I voted for him because I wanted to change. I was tired of the same politicians giving the same nonsense, and there's no results. And actually, in 2012, I actually abstained from voting. Since I was 18, I was able to vote in any election I wanted to. I voted in every single one, and mostly Democratic. Actually all Democratic. I think actually in 2012 I stopped, and I abstained the Obama versus Romney election. Because I was tired of the nonsense. I didn't like either candidate. I didn't like the BS I was receiving. And I don't know if you get that way as you get older, after you graduate from college, and as you have a family, you start seeing things for what they are. And some people choose to be active, and I chose to be active. So Emos the Witness came about. I'm aiming to make this show an entertaining show at the same time, bring about various different topics and interviews. And like I said, I'm very excited because I got you guys. I've got you guys here now. I have a new website coming out, emostowitness.com. And hoping the full launch will be ready to go on this coming Monday. What I aim to do with that website, I aim to bring you guys my own personal perspectives via articles, editorials and things of that nature. But yes, also another wide-ranging scope of different news articles from various sources. And you just, you pick and choose what you want to believe, but at least you're getting various angles, because you know that the news authors nowadays have their own opinions, and they want to put them in their writings. They want you to read about them. We can't get it straight. We can't get the information we want. We can't get the truth. We got to get your truth and the truth. And like right now, there's an oversaturation of that in our media market. The power of the pen, the power of the voice, it's amazing. It's dynamic, and it can influence a lot. So can you imagine in your daily life, as you run around this world doing what you do, trying to feed your kids and make a living, you have leaders in the background that are molding your future, but you don't have time to recognize those things. You don't have time to speak out on those things. Sometimes you think that you're with the status quo, or you're with the mainstream on various topics and issues. You look up in election season, and you're totally on the opposite side of the page. I mean, how many millions of Americans were upset when they woke up and they saw Hillary Clinton wasn't winning the election, or didn't win? But how many Americans woke up and thought that Trump was going to win a landslide in 2020? Woke up to a 2-month event, a 2-month review of the election, and to be awarded to Biden. Last episode I showed you guys information, articles about the Guatemalan president rejecting Kamala Harris. She had a debacle foreign policy trip last week on immigration, and we know how the Biden administration is currently doing on that topic, and we're not going to get into that today. But it's a freestyle Saturday, so we might jump into that. And as I get into this show, I got to make sure that I don't jump around too much and jump to tangents. But I want to make sure I cover the essence of what this show's about each and every time I bring it to you live. Okay, so let's say usually we're live every we're trying various things out, but we're live usually every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or every Tuesday or Friday, at least one time a week, usually in the mornings. But we'll test a few things out to see what the market likes. And so as this show grows, I want you to grow with me as witnesses. We're going to be well-informed voters in the future. We're going to be well-informed citizens and consumers. And we're going to hopefully in the future have a group of leaders and politicians in all sectors of society that are truly beholden to the people. And we could truly scope them out and hold them accountable for what they say and what they do and their policies they try to implement. That's going to make a better society, because we need it. It's necessary. And I know I'm jumping around, but we have a potential. This world is becoming so innovative. If you look at the electric car vehicles, you look at the competition globally, you look at the changes in cryptocurrency and the financial system. You need young leaders and bright people to bring that about. But what you have going on right now is you have a tug of war. You have that old guard. You have that lockdown, seasoned politician that doesn't want to give up the office, and they still have the old industry influences out there that the old tobacco, big oil that don't want to really release that grip on their own power, on that financial power, without a smooth transition where they get a piece. Think about all the patents that have been restricted over time. A lot of stuff is being released. A lot of stuff you can't stop innovation. You can't stop creativity. I've read a study that some of the most successful countries are the most diverse. And if you look around the world today, of course, America being one of them, they said like South Africa, is becoming more and more diverse as a country, and you're seeing a lot of different groups of people, different culture growing up in that, a new culture growing up in that area, in that country, and maybe we see some things spark out of that. I think they said something about Singapore, but at any rate, we need to be a part of that and continue that tradition. We need to continue that innovation, and I think that it's important that we take some time and make sure that our leadership is on that same page. And we actually having a flow. I'm a flow of exchange of leadership. I'm for term limits. None of this shit ever really happens. None of this shit ever transpires because we don't push the needle as a people. We're tired. We have an old cadaver in office right now as our president. The guy's been around for 70-some years, a seasoned vet in the political game, and what has he ever accomplished before becoming president? A lot of bad policy. A lot of corrupted allegations, sexual misconduct. We all know about what's going on in Ukraine and China with his son Hunter Biden as well. So what are we getting out of all this? Do we really think that we're going to see a change with this president in 4 years? How many wants to witness you, ladies and gentlemen? I want you to hit that like, subscribe button on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. As I told you guys, website is out. I think the website, kind of like I said, it's coming soon. It'll be officially out on Monday. We have that under construction page going on. You know how it is, and that's how it goes. That's how it is. You know, like, even my whole garb my whole get up is. I literally got up and ran some errands like a dad. You know, I was about to go fishing. I had my fish hat on, got my fishing glasses on. So I said, you know, just come down to the studio just like this. Fuck it, because I'm a work in progress. Like, this is not what the show is going to be in totality, but I'd rather just start now because the time is now. There's a lot of change going on in this country, and we need to grow together. So you're going to see this show grow together, you know? You know, some days see me here G'd up or with a mask on, a different kind of thing going on. You know, you may see a totally different look until we get it right, you know? So, you know, this is Most of Witness, the Field Show. Instead of what the fuck I look like, this is the relaunch. And we really want to, like I said, the whole purpose of this show is to expose corruption in our political theme, give you the political chess game, the maneuvering between Democrats and Republicans, you know, how they're jockeying for position as we head to the 2020 midterm elections, as we head to the 2024 presidential elections. You know, T-Dog the Prez. I'm going to call him T-Dog for the sake of social media censorship. I don't want any trouble with the big tech. So when I say T-Dog the Prez, then hopefully you know who I'm talking about. But Obama, I can say Obama and Biden all day. I don't know if I can say Dr. F, A-U-C to the I. So I'm going to Dr. F when it comes to the pandemic. P. So I've really been reading the Google YouTube policies. I've really been digging into the copyright things, what I can do, what I can't do. Because, you know, I'm just telling you, it's very important that I'm able to open up and reach you guys. Right now, I think I'm only reaching probably 10 people. But it's a strategy going on where we want to kind of get this show, you know, out there. And we're going to do what we can and get out to that social diaspora so you guys can hear me, you know, because it's important. And I hope there's other like figures out there like me that really want to get the truth out. They really want to express their viewpoints, not for the sake of winning a dog in a fight, but just bettering this country and bettering their children and their family's future, you know. So this Freestyle Saturday, which is really supposed to be a Freestyle Friday, and like I said, I may get to a point where I'm doing shows almost every day, or I'm doing shows pretty often, so it doesn't really matter what day it is. What matters is that we cover these topics and we really dig into these politicians. And today I wanted to talk about the economy. I want to talk about a lot of things. I don't know how much time I have today. Usually shows about an hour. But, you know, like I said, I want to talk about the economy. I want to talk about the political maneuvering behind the scenes between Democrats and Republicans. So I want to get to this first article real quick. Let me log in here. Like I said, Unbiased America, which is, you know, there's a lot of information, a lot of stats coming from this. I want to make sure I cite my source so you guys can come back and look at these things in the future. But, you know, Unbiased America, regarding the economy, this is very disturbing to me. And I mentioned this before in the past about how I feel like we'll be entering a dark winter, how a lot of the economic indicators and numbers that we're seeing are kind of falsified, definitely in the beginning of the year. But anyway, per Unbiased America, another disappointing employment report as the economy falls 112,000 jobs short of expectations in May. Now, this is as of June 4th, about last week. Job creation disappointing again in May, with payrolls increasing by 559,000 or 112 fewer than the 671,000 that economists had expected, and more people dropped out of the job market altogether, pushing the labor force participation rate down to 61.6% to 100 million American workers remaining on the sidelines. May's letdown came after a huge miss in April as well, when just 278,000 were added instead of the forecasted 1 million new jobs. Now, this is crazy. Indeed, what had been one of the quickest economic recoveries ever since the 2020 has slowed considerably. A V-shaped rebound was averaging 2 million jobs per month prior to the election. 2 million jobs per month. But has plunged to just 336,000 per month since then. Now that's very interesting, you know, and that's very factual. I remember reading back and looking back in you know, late last year, and even in October, these jobs were steady and growing at about 900,000 up to 2 million per month. You know, during the Trump administration, or T-Dog the Prez administration, excuse me. Now this article. But despite the fact that states have dramatically relaxed lockdown restrictions and businesses have reopened throughout the country, the economy grew at a 6.4% pace in the first quarter and is on track to accelerate to a 10.3% pace in the second quarter. Now, my understanding from that is the economy is growing, is booming, it's fine. You know, like I said, you guys see the crypto market, you see the global market as a whole, new technology, new businesses, new innovation, but people are not going to work. You know, Now, Democrats want to blame parent. It's noted in this article further, but Democrats, and I'll just go ahead and just read that because it's more clear. The problem doesn't seem to be a lack of available employment. Job openings are at record levels. Instead, the problem has been trying to get people back to work. Democrats last month tried to make the case that the lack of child care options is keeping parents from returning to the office. But now, a study by Democrats' own economists, that's not the case. The study is led by Jason Furman, chairman of the White House Council of Economic Advisors under the Obama administration, found that parents with young children have returned to work at the same rate as people without children. And that number of unemployed parents is far too small to account for the huge numbers of workers sitting on the sidelines. So we know that's not true. Now, Republicans argue, as you guys may know, that the point of a massive stimulus bill and the profligate government spending as major reasons workers are slow to return. Not a single Republican in the House has voted for the $1.9 trillion stimulus package earlier this year that gave people $300 a week in bonus to stay unemployed. And now, in addition to the slowing job growth, inflation is becoming a major problem. The combination of a weak growth and the rising inflation is known as stagflation. It became popular in the Carter administration, I personally believe this is round 2 of the Carter administration. This is a very weak president, a very weak administration. It's known globally as such, and it's being shown globally. And we'll get into that in the here in the future shortly as we talk about President Biden's trip to summit with Russia this week. What's going on right now this weekend? But this is complicated efforts by the Fed to help the economy, as their usual course of action is to stem inflation, is to increase interest rates. And you're starting to see interest rates rise. You're starting to see the rising in food prices. You've seen the rises in gas prices. You better refinance your homes as you can while those rates are still kind of low. I think they're about 2% now. I don't know, but I remember they were about 1% or less than that, 0% not too long ago. But yeah, this is the problem. This is an issue. Like I said, my theory is that these numbers are deceitful, and we're going to be entering a third or fourth quarter with some issues. And I want to call it. Biden called it a nuclear winter, and that's what I'm going to call it. I like to be an optimist, but us getting back to work and us opening up might be a little too late. And I blame Democrats for prolonging the success of ending the pandemic. Playing a political football with it mostly throughout the past couple years. To anything they could to probably win the election, by any means necessary. And I told you that Democrats have the ability to play this political game to a treacherous level, better than Republicans can. And that's why they won 2020, in my opinion. They were battling for power for 5 years. Emotional witness, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that like, subscribe button. You can catch me downtown live most days. Wave 1 Media, 120 East Market Street. Please like that Facebook, Twitter, Instagram page. Website is in development, coming soon. But a lot of great things on there. As we dig into this world's views and issues and politics, and we dig deep. And we try to find the truth where it is. Like I said, because for me, it's all about the investigations of the past. Like I said, Democrats spent 4 years trying to get power back, and they got it. Congratulations. But to what detriment? To what destruction to our future? Is it all smoke and mirrors? And I'm just kind of playing I'm having all this outcry for no reason. At the end of the day, the good guy always wins. I hope that's the case. But if history repeats itself, we have to be very careful. So protect yourself, protect your neck. So like I said, the most to win the show. We're trying to expose corruption. Democrats spent 4 years trying to get back power, and they won it. If you look at this president, you look at T-Dog, the president in the past, he has to go down as the most investigated president ever. Teflon. Remember, like I said, I don't really have a problem with him being president. Him being our president. I voted for him. I don't think he's a bad leader. And you see he's in the background trying to get power back too. I just think that his American first policy and him being for the people is authentic, and I think he represented well in the past 4 years. Got a lot done, despite all the investigations, despite the continued investigations on the federal level and the state level. The Southern District of New York just won't stop. These attorney generals are relentless. Go to the Trump organization. This man. You gotta remember, this man has been in the spotlight since the early '90s. Maybe beyond that. I'm gonna take it back. Late '90s. Early '90s. I remember as a kid sitting on the floor, man, watching Mike Tyson fights. and Donald Trump would be right there with Don King on the side. When the fight was over, Don King would hop on out, get into the ring, and so would Donald Trump. Trump was marketing all these fights. Showtime. I used to watch him. I've seen him every day. I've seen him on Oprah Winfrey giving interviews. I've seen him in all the tabloids with all of his personal chronicles of his marriage and his divorce. All the allegations. I mean, this guy was, when you're successful in society and in life, you're attacked. And I watched this man become Teflon for damn near 30 years. I mean, since I've been born. I'm 42 now. And this guy's been in my face for at least 75% of my life. Now, if you give me two presidential candidates, and one is a corrupted official, allegedly. I mean, it was, actually not allegedly, it was factual. He's damn near 98. He's pale. He looks like a walking cadaver with Botox. He's stiff. He stutters. He clamors. He can barely give a press conference. He doesn't give us any speeches, real speeches of policy. He's with a policy that feeds on emotion. And then I got this other candidate who I've seen for 30 years. I've seen him work with American people. I've seen him, even though he's in a wealthy state of mind, he has a everyday man's personality. Yeah, he's brash. He's from New York, but he defends himself. Well, fuck all that. The question is, can he lead? Can anyone lead? And I found a leader. Now and what I have to state even more clearly is that I am not a Republican. Never had nor will be, because I don't line up with Republican views and values. I no longer line up with Democratic views and values. But I noticed that there are some things that may sound Republican in nature, issues that I believe that may sound Democratic in nature. But at the same time, I'm with what's common sense. I'm with what the American people are, which I guess makes me independent. But again, I'd rather just vote for a really sound leader with sound policy, and that's good at getting things done. And I think that we as a country were on the verge of getting that respect back. The Obama, Trump, Biden era, the only good sandwich in the middle was what was expected. It's like having a gourmet quality Angus beef burger with two stale-ass McDonald's buns on top and under it. We need to get back to to being that power, that global power, peace through strength. I think we saw like a gradual, well, I mean, like I said, we saw respect from all countries, but I think what America was intending to do was almost reset the table of fairness. No longer, in my belief, no longer we are a country that can just go to war with any country and just take over their shit. We did a lot of foul things over the decades. We did a lot of corrupt things, a lot of deceitful things to these countries, a lot of trade deals, a lot of things that were lopsided in agreements. And then it's like, the wool been put over a lot of countries' eyes, and I understand that. And we're not the only country that does that or has done that. I mean, China's pillaging Africa right now as we speak. But what we have done over the years, we've done a lot of deceptive things. We've done a lot of false flags of things, even to our own people. And I think that for the first time, I saw leadership in an administration that was looking to correct those things. Reciprocal trade, fair trade deals, peace through strength. We saw like a marching along of success. Like we hear shit from North Korea for 4 years, and now look up, they're ready to test missiles. You got Russia on the Ukraine border ready to take over more land in Crimea and Uzbekistan. You got Turkey, making moves. You see Iran making moves still. You see Israel going about it alone almost. What appears to be an administration in the Biden that's looking to turn face in support. You've seen a reverse of all these good policies that we had success over the last 4 years go away for political power, for absolute power. And we have to identify that as a people, ladies and gentlemen, because you're not going to be told this shit. You're going to be told little fragments. You're going to be told little headlines and topics. You're going to be steered certain directions. And this is what I'm talking about here at the Must Win the Show. I can get on tangents, and I could end up covering the whole shit. And I like to say, like I said, the reason for this show is to expose our politicians And one of the major reasons, we go back and recap what's been going on in our investigations with, John Durham, the Mueller investigation, investigating the investigators, all the nonsense that we had during the campaign in 2020. Now you may think that's not a point. You may think that was long ago. You may think that was just water under the bridge. It is not. You cannot have an administration or campaign spied upon and get away with it. We have to change the laws, but to hold people accountable and make sure that these people in higher power and higher leadership positions do not let this shit, or they can't get away with it, And I'm talking about the Obama administration. I'm talking about Sally Yates. I'm talking about Susan Rice. I'm talking about President Obama. I'm talking about Joe Biden. I'm talking about the whole administration. I'm talking about the State Department. I'm talking about Hillary Clinton. I'm talking about Christopher Steele, the Steele dossier. I'm talking about James Comey. I'm talking about Eric Holder. I'm talking about gerrymandering. I'm talking about sworn affidavits. I'm talking about Pfizer. I don't know if I can say Pfizer. I'm talking about F courts. Shit, It's crazy how social media, you gotta watch certain shit, or you may get censored. But all this shit is true. All these things exist. It's a fine line, between what you see and what you don't see. And what I'm saying is, when you censor a president, when you censor a senator for speaking out on any social venues, which we know, okay, yeah, they're owned by businesses, so they can do what the hell they want, but they're too big to fail. They're too big. Now they're becoming a Supreme Court in a sense for social speak. What you can or can't say, or you get shut down. Now you say, okay, you can go to a different source, but come on, man. Millions and millions of people are on these sites. When you take that over and make that more of a state institutional or a government type of a, thing now, because you're so large, your influence is so big that we can't have people regulating speech, in Silicon Valley. The hell you think you are? Yeah, if you built it, they would come. But if you built it under deception, which is what you did, you built this Facebook, this Twitter, this Instagram. Everybody joins free. You get all the information, all the personal information. You build up this well of influence of millions and millions of not subscribers, but of members. And the influence you have definitely in the past election. And now when people speak out, now you want to regulate their speech. You want to play guard dog and referee. That's amazing to me. And they're currently getting away with it. Facebook is battling countries. I got you guys an update on Australia. See how that's going. Speaking of Australia, as I said, we need to get out. People are traveling more. People are trying to take those masks off and shed that. And I'm taking a trip pretty soon next month. I'm very excited about it, going to Jamaica. But I'm never going to Australia. And look at these motherfucking pictures of these animals in Australia. Why do you have that image that clip I was telling you about? Man, look at this, America. What? I've never seen any of these animals in any part of the world, in any creek, any forest that I've ever visited, any backyard, anything. Look at this. Look at that. That's a bat. That bat has legs, has thighs bigger than mine. Look at that shit. He's wrapped. I guess that's his wings. Could you imagine running that wide? Did you woke up in one morning?
It looks like a little kid dressed up as a bat for Halloween.
That looks like a damn Halloween costume. It looks like a good 8-year-old, fully fleshed up. Now, what is that? Let's look at this, America. What is that? I don't even know. They said this is awesome. Very dangerous to humans. If seen, do not touch it.
Yeah, they said it's an anemone.
And see, I read that. I thought they said it's awesome.
Here we go, right here.
It's an anemone. The Dorfelinia. Look, I just think that Australia is the gateway to hell. I think the animals. I think like if you let's take the world at a diagonal angle. You say you start from like Antarctica or like the North Pole, whatever some shit, and you see like the polar bears and the beautiful penguins, the beautiful fish and dolphins. As you come down, you see the grizzly bears and the nice wood forest. You see Yosemite, you see the deers and the alligators. And you keep coming down, you're seeing the swamp and the frogs, and you're seeing the beautiful fish again. I don't know, this is my viewpoint of the world. Like if I'm coming down as a diagonal, and I'm coming through, and I'm going through Africa, and I'm seeing the beautiful zebras, and I'm seeing the lions, and I'm seeing the very different things. I'm seeing beautiful fish. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming down more. I'm seeing a water buffalo. I'm seeing hippos and all that shit. And I'm getting across and I'm getting down a little more south. Okay, I'm starting seeing some weird shit. I'm starting seeing hammerhead sharks. I'm starting to see whales. I'm starting to see motherfucking orcas and different color shit. I'm starting to see octopus and I'm starting to see motherfucking woolly mammoths and motherfucking Bigfoot and big ass spiders and shit. And then I'm getting to Australia. I'm seeing these motherfucking muscle bound kangaroos. Okay, I'm seeing motherfucking bats the size of fucking 11-year-old fat girls. I'm seeing motherfucking spiders and just snakes eating sharks and snakes eating alligators. What the fuck is Australia about? Look at this motherfucking kangaroo, man. That motherfucker's on swole. We grew up seeing kangaroos, little cute kangaroos in the pouches, little baby kangaroo in the baby pouch. This motherfucker, where are the weights? What is he lifting? Like, what is he grabbing that makes his arms that brolic? It makes his chest that swole. You know what I'm saying? If you run into that motherfucker, man, I'd rather run into him before I'd rather run into a herd of lions before I run into that kangaroo. But like I said, you look at the snakes in your bathtub. You got frogs eating snakes. You got this frog look like a damn alien. Like, this frog does not even belong here. Look at his eyes. You've never seen shit like this in any part of the world but Australia. Okay? Look at that. What is that? Is that an upside down bear with his belly out? Was that like, what is that?
Somebody said in the comments this is a dead whale.
That's dead whale? Okay. They have covered their skin so they die and fill up with gas. Oh, imagine like, can you imagine like just selling past that motherfucker that just blows up on you? Oh, God. You got all that gunk on you? But yeah, I'm still convinced, no matter what the explanation is, only the weird shit is down that little corner of the southern corner of the country, of the world, in Australia. And I just think that, you know, if you look long enough, you're going to find a portal or some kind of hole with fire coming from behind it. And it's like, hey, come on, this is hell. Come on, walk through. Anyway, as you guys get out, as you guys travel the world, as you guys take your vacations, I'll probably avoid Australia by any means necessary. At least take it, you know, at least be careful if you go there. But, you know, and we're opening up, and rightfully so. As I mentioned before, you know, the economy needs it. You know, the economy is growing, but yet we have high jobless rate, a low jobless rate. Excuse me. People don't want to go back to work. People want to stay home because they got paid. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, I mean, you had a taste of what we should be doing right. I mean, think about all the benefits besides Dr. Fauci flip-flopping and finally being exposed for what he is. And like I said, COVID and the pandemic is one of the most misinformational campaigns that we've seen. The level of confusion is just damn near unnecessary. The leadership was much to be desired from all angles, from everyone, not just, you know, the president. And like I said, President Trump has some blame to make as well, but I don't put all the blame on him. I don't go too deep into that, but I want to say, like I said, we're opening up now, and we need to for our economy. But what you saw a depiction of what we need in this world. You saw, okay, for example, schools. We need to have that at-home ability. We need to make sure we have that work-at-home ability for our kids when we ever have a pandemic like this in the future. So all our kids can go back home and work and study or work from home or learn from home effectively. You know, we were caught, you know, on our heels on that. You know, and then you had the political game. You had teachers unions delaying, you know, sending kids back to schools for various reasons. You know, one was for wages. If you increase wages, people will have more of incentive to work and be more proud of what they do. But, you know, we just showed an example. If you give us a handout, you give us too much money and we sit on our asses, we're not going to move at all. Not only are we not going to move at all, we're going next time we do move, we want a better job. We want a more higher paying job. And even though you see all these now hiring signs out here, people are not fucking with it because they know that last time I worked a $15 an hour job, I was struggling. You guys gave me like damn near 5 G's and $500 a week for the last year and a half. Shit, I'm about to go out of town for the third time. I got a taste of what life's about when you're independent and don't work. Now you're not independent. You get a handout. You're on the government's tit, and I believe that the state, local government, when you're using these projects and these plans, that they're for temporary reasons. If it's for a transition, whether you're moving from one place to another, where you lost a job, but you don't stay on it. And I'm not for that. But I think the American people as a whole and everybody as a whole feels that they will work and they want to work if they have an incentive and a purpose. And if you pay people, if you raise wages and you pay people, you will see that effect. You will see that. I think this right here is an example. I just hope it's not too late because these small businesses are also down, right? Because people aren't working. Let's read this article right here. Okay, my battery's running low. Look at that shit. My charger's in my bag, but we can still keep going. Let's pull up this other article right here about the number of, this was by Unbiased America. The number of small businesses is down at a staggering 40% and still falling. This is by Kevin Ryan. The number of small businesses in America has declined by nearly 40% since the lockdown began last year, including more than half of the leisure and hospitality industry. That according to the tracking data from Harvard University nonprofit. And things are actually starting to get worse again. A separate poll shows that 35% of small businesses say that they are at risk of closing permanently by the end of this summer due to inflationary pressures, rising gas prices, and increasing labor shortages. 55% of those polled said that they are having trouble finding employees, which is up 5% from last month. Only 22% of small businesses owners say they expect to make as much or more than they earned last summer, a troubling revelation considering that 40 to 50% of small businesses were not even open last summer. Restaurant owners and retailers who were polling better a few weeks ago are now back among the industries that were very concerned about their prospects this summer, saying they're struggling with inflation and massive labor shortages. 39% of restaurant owners and 40% of small retailers say they worry about making it to the end of the summer. Now, the end effect of the lockdown, stay-at-home orders, and businesses restrictions may be a huge shift towards big business in America. See, now this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that big business, since the economy in Wall Street is roaring right now, I think that it's time for big business to be our next set of heroes, besides the nurses and hospitals and the restaurants and the gig employees out here trying to keep us fed and keep us going. It's time for big business to step up and increase wages. They're scared to do so. They're scared of losing money. They're scared of going out of business. But at the same time, they never tried this model before effectively, really bought into it. And let's give it a try. Because you're on the way there anyway. You're on the way to inflationary prices. And you can't get people to work for you. You're about to go out of business. So once you try something different, once you try what the American people want, once you try what the Trump administration has been trying to do for the last 4 years, increase wages, seal up the border, clamp that shit down because it also leads to increased wages as well. Businesses, increase your standards, increase your wages, take that hit if you think it's a hit. But I bet you if you do it that way, you'll see a turnaround in the economy. You'll see a turnaround in all these industries. You'll see a higher morale for the people because you have people back to work. We're opening up. It all makes sense. Half the country, or at least more than half the country now, should at least somewhat skeptical about the information we've been receiving regarding this pandemic. And the censorship and the parameters been placed around it as far as its news content. I'm probably talking to generalities for some of these people, some of you out there, but hit the You Must Win This Show live, hit that like subscribe button. Hit the You Must Win This Show. As you guys recognized last week that there is a beginning of growing theory that the Wuhan lab in China, or that there was some kind of lab leak regarding the virus. Now, when it first started this back last year, that was dismissed totally by the media, dismissed totally by Dr. Fauci. And now look, a week later, a week ago, you got Condoleezza Rice on the Sunday morning show saying, "Oh yeah, we should have took that more serious." What the fuck? This is our leadership talking. So much misinformation, so much misdirection. President Trump from the jump said it came from China. It came from a lab. But everybody who wants power back, everybody who wants to discredit him continuously at the risk of America's health, dismissed it. And now he's out here talking about Delta variant, a new type of strain coming. How much of this shit can we take? I really feel like President Trump put him out in the front to say, "Hey, look, you start this shit, so you said you handle this shit. We put you in the forefront. You're the point man for this shit, Dr. Fauci." You know what I mean? But if you look at the operational things that were put in place to protect us in the beginning of 2020 from the president, that has to be applauded. You think about other restrictions, like you said, all the restrictions he released on a vaccine, all the therapeutics, bringing 2 big ass ships to the fucking New York, 2 hospitals on boats that won't even use, poor democratic leaderships by our state leaders, PPP equipment being rolled out at a great rate. You know, what were some of the failures? And I hope this is the last episode I talk about the coronavirus, because like I said, we're opening up. We exposed Dr. Fauci for who he is. And I no longer want to talk about that shit. I want to talk about growing the economy and getting back on track as a people. Restoring our confidence, digging back into innovation, matching what the hell's going on in Wall Street, matching the economy. I'm telling you, what are some of the failures that we had that we recognized also during this pandemic? You know, the nursing home debacle in New York. You know, Governor Cuomo sending nursing home sick COVID patients back to the nursing facilities where more people died. A lot of tragedies happened in these democratic states, in these democratic cities. Poor leadership. It's my opinion. It was done deliberately to make the president look bad in order for him to win the election in 2020 at any cause, by any means necessary. You layer that up with the media that is heavy, one-sided. You layer that up with politicians and lawmakers changing laws unabashedly without process. You know, early voting, late voting, you know, all this deceit, ballot counting overnight, 2 months to decide an election. I mean, that shit is just, it's a head scratcher. And if you, no matter what side of the aisle you fall on, as an American, you should be like, man, hold on, my Constitution, my voter integrity is it intact? I need to check this shit out for what it's worth, no matter who won. And that's what we're all about. We're no longer gonna let this shit just slide. You know, you may say that was already been reviewed and looked at. To whose satisfaction? So they're saying 4 million Americans out here don't believe Biden should be president or is our president. It's only fair. I mean, that's how the whole world felt, the whole country felt, you know, when Trump was in office. Not my president. Don't even call him president. Ripped up the State of the Union address. You know what I'm saying? In the front. I mean, that was probably the most disrespectful thing that I've seen, embarrassing thing I've seen when Nancy Pelosi ripped up that State of the Union address in front of the world. Just embarrassing, man. Again, no matter who is in office, you gotta respect. We gotta bring a level of respect to this country. You know, and it has to come from our leadership first. So, you know, jumping around, like I said, I don't mean jumping around, but you're seeing the effects of this policy, of this pandemic. You're seeing the what misinformation, what poor leadership, what greed can do to a country. And you know, a lot of my family members and a lot of people that I meet sometimes on a day-to-day basis feel like, you know, what happens in the federal level in government doesn't affect them. But this is the prime example right here. You've been going through this pandemic, following all these instructions all this time, you know, and you could either have benefited from it or you could be right now suffering from it. And it looks like as a country, we could be suffering more and more. While the global world not only thrives during this time, but is on pace to even the scales with our country economically. And maybe that's what the whole thing's all about. Maybe that's what it's all about. You know, restoring fairness. You know, all overall. You know, right now I feel like, you know, as a country, we're, you know, as far as chess goes, we're pigeonholed. We're kind of trapped in a lot of ways. And again, it goes with a lot of what's been going on with the last 5 years. You know, a lot of changing the policies back and forth, a lot of deceit, and a lot of people don't know who to trust, and a lot of countries don't know who to back or support as you know, or work with, you know, as our leaders. And you know, another example of that. You know, and I could tap on a few more things, but you know, if we can tap on that, you know, just a few more examples of the economy. Like, you know, this article here says Chipotle has hiked prices across its menu by about 4% as wages and ingredients get more expensive. See, that's another example of businesses. You know, and I think as businesses, you guys need to embrace that increase in the cost. American people will pay for it, but increase those wages. Let's open up this country. Let's get people back to work. Let's see what happens. Another article. Levi CEO says Amazon's $20 an hour wage are forcing gene makers to rethink worker pay amid a tight labor market. See? So there are countries that are, in my opinion, stepping up. You know, Amazon is going around paying everybody $20 an hour. It's going to force Levi to do the same if you want to stay in business. Now, I have no sympathy for you, Levi. You've made millions trillions, probably billions over the Levi centuries. The whole little Levi Jr. they're set. So let's take a chance. Let's try this new angle. Let's increase those wages a little bit. Let's look at the numbers. Let's do the cost analysis. And if you made $450 million in quarter 2 and you only made $448 million in quarter 3, well, I mean, it's okay. What benefit did we get from it is my question. Higher wages, higher self-esteem, people back to work, a more booming economy, which means a more booming Wall Street. A lot of the youth are investing in a lot of stocks and cryptos and electric vehicles. You're seeing empowerment. And that's another reason why there's a shortage in workers. Shit, the youth know how to play the market. You got 22-year-old college students sitting on $3 million, playing the market every day, just collecting paper. You want to solve it? I don't know how you can solve that. You can't solve. You can't. You should not even want to suppress that level of thinking, that level of ability. You know, if people are so innovative and they come up with these ideas, maybe your system needs to be tweaked. Maybe it's the system that's corrupt. Like I said, I'm not for getting rid of capitalism at all. I think it needs to be fixed. I think it needs to be back to a level of fairness. And I thought we were getting that with the Trump administration. You know, our dealings with our local politics, drain and clean the swamp, in addition to our leaders in our partnerships with other countries. You know, the USMCA deal, you know, like I say, reciprocal trade, all these things, the peace deals, the accords, all that stuff has jeopardy of being reversed. Just like that. We could be at war, just like that. Because our country is not in a position, chess-wise, to lead this world any longer since we switched up leadership. Because everything else is being switched up. So, like, it's another example. Let's do it, y'all. And this, this is another article here. This is about censorship. And this is, I'm just read the headline, and I don't want to talk about this too much. YouTube has blocked Senator Ron Johnson for 7 days after it removed a video of him spreading coronavirus misinformation. Okay, my laptop just died, and I don't feel like getting the charger, so I'm going to use my big screen and start talking to you guys from. But I'm going to keep it up, though, for aesthetics, the screen anyway. But anyway, Ron Johnson, Republican senator, and he's been a very strong vocal opponent of some of the things regarding the coronavirus and the information that's just been spread out about it, and the confusion that has caused American people. In addition to Marco Rubio, and Rand Paul. And Rand Paul right now is patting himself on the back because he's been telling us about Dr. Fauci for months now about his deceitful information and his lies. And anytime somebody has a book coming out, and it's always on mainstream media, CNBC or CNN, spouting off, nonsense, confusion, you got to question it. And unfortunately, like even our senators, even our congressmen, even Trump are being censored, on these social media platforms that have a big impact on how you view information. It wouldn't be such a problem if his message about coronavirus misinformation reaches people through some kind of venue, but it doesn't. And who let us decide if it's misinformation. Let us hear what he says as a leader in this country, and let's go back on it. But you don't even get that opportunity. We just get a censorship from our big tech. Who's gonna? Now, if we let this shit ride, you look about it 10, 15 years from now. Big tech will be controlling everything you do. You try to order a pizza, they're gonna stop your shit because you're too fat. You want to go somewhere, they're gonna stop your shit. We got to make sure we grow, but we make sure we protect our rights and values and traditions at the same time. Okay, we do. We gotta improve and implore people to start businesses up and to work, because not only does that strengthen the economy, but it gives you self-esteem, gives you a sense of purpose. We gotta keep our laws intact because we don't want anarchy. We don't want incivility in this world. We don't want riots every damn day. We don't want sneaky, deceitful shit going on. We want to hold everybody accountable in this world on one tiered system. No two-tiered justice system. That's what we got to keep working towards. We got to keep pushing back. If not, you're going to slowly see the erosion of what you believe in, erosion of what you can do, erosion of your freedoms, restrictions on what you can or can't do. And we're all people. We all breathe the same air, bleed the same blood. Hopefully, there's a lot of freaks out here. But at the end of the day, like I stated, as I always will, like my grandfather used to always say, there's no greater country in the world than the United States of America. We gotta keep it that way. So I can't see on my screen why. So maybe the next screen, can we click on? I will get to. Like I said, I like to cover like an array of different topics. But as we my normal shows, not my freestyle shows, we're gonna be more keen and more detailed and more subject oriented in one or two topics that really dig into like the investigations of the past, like I told you, and the political jockeying and the power playing in the world today in the U.S. government. So again, so I wanted to segue from talking about the economy and some of the deception and the censorship to talk about what's going on this weekend. Biden is in Geneva in a summit with the Russian President Vladimir Putin. And this article right here says what to expect. And I'll read a little bit about this, but I kind of want to give my thoughts on it. And what time do we have here? Okay, I got to get going in a few more minutes. I got my daughter has soccer practice, game rather. So I want to recap what I want to talk about on Monday or Tuesday, my next show, which talk about the political jockeying and what's going on behind the scenes in U.S. politics and these last few articles scored and bring that home. But like I said, when Trump was president, T-Dog the press, he had the world on a yo-yo. I mean, from the jump. I mean, shit, he had Saudi Arabia. He had motherfuckers, they was touching a golden ball. Like the very first month he was in office, he went down to Saudi Arabia and they all touched his big ass ball, had big ass formal ceremony. He went to Europe, I mean, like still getting chastised by his EU leaders and still getting chastised by the I guess rich countries media, because they're all in cahoots. And they've been exposed. None of the things I'm saying is false. All the shit I can bring you reference and reference in news articles that match it. But there's still dossier and investigation led to that. The U.S. was in cahoots with a lot of countries when it came to this to our campaign, our election. That's something that's never happened before. But yeah, at any rate, President Trump jumped around Canada, jumped around Mexico. You will pay for this wall. Canada, you will do. Man, he was punking the shit out of Jack Trudeau. Went down to the Middle East, signed held onto a global ball in Saudi Arabia, threw a bomb over to Iran, said, a big ass bomb, said don't do no other shit. In Syria, did the same thing in Syria. Now what we have in return, we have a troop withdrawal in Afghanistan. Finally, the longest war in United States history came to an end. We had North Korea shut the fuck up. North Korea, they've been quiet. We still battling China and the South China Sea and things like that, but we're holding our own. The only foreign policy debacle that's been swept under the rug that President Trump needs to be held accountable for is probably with the situation in Venezuela. I don't know if we won that or it's pretty much a proxy war. But his back candidate, I forgot his name. I don't know. I forgot his name, but you don't see me faring too well down there in Venezuela. But we'll cover that one of these shows. But the whole point I'm trying to bring is that we have this peace through strength campaign, this strengthening our partners globally. For example, giving Ukraine hardware, military equipment, things like that. Countries respected us. Countries they feared us because not only of our military power, but we're willing to negotiate these deals and bring our alliances, strengthen our alliances, and also hold our own current alliances accountable in the European Union as far as making them pay for their their dues, for their military buildup, for us being a world policeman. Through all that, we came out stronger, and then you have the Biden administration come out. A former vice president under the Obama administration, where they were respected. China had Obama coming out through the back of the plane nose ceremony when he visited China. There was respect in the beginning of his 8-year term. His 8-year term. But by the end of the Obama administration, he was viewed as a weak leader. No one respected him. And, a lot of countries didn't respect him in the very beginning. Then you got his vice president. This is his round 2. He's now in office. They don't respect him the same. Vladimir Putin has no incentive to meet with President Biden. He holds all the cards. There's nothing we can do. Read some of this article for you guys. Russian President Vladimir Putin has been a constant challenge for every American president since Bill Clinton, and now it's Joe Biden's turn. The upcoming summit between the United States and Russian leaders presents a major diplomatic test for Biden's administration at a time when antagonism between Washington and Moscow is at an all-time high or worse in decades. Now, I guess this article is more of a preview, and I don't see that it's not letting you go any further. So let's go to the next article right next to it. Excuse me. Sorry, I got some allergy problems going on. But like I said, Biden lucky to come out of this Putin summit empty-handed and risk handling the Kremlin of victory. But he has no choice. He has to. So he has to face the music, but at the same time, he has to try to like save face. Some of these bullet points. Biden's upcoming summit with Putin will be one of the biggest tests yet as president. Experts say that it's unclear what Biden hopes to gain from Putin, who wants to keep the U.S. as an adversary. If Biden doesn't come out with clear deliverables, the summit could be perceived as a win for the Kremlin. The U.S. official has warned. President Biden, upcoming summit with President Vladimir Putin in Geneva, Switzerland, has posed to be one of the biggest tests. Relationship between the United States and Russia have been deteriorating for years, and Washington has struggled to come up with an effective response to Putin's increasingly aggressive behavior at home and abroad. Now, you imagine that, for 4 years or 5 years, you constantly had another country saying that you spied on our election, or you had an influence on our election towards another candidate, that you're this, you're that our president is a foreign operative under your wing. And it's been proven through our own investigations and own facts that that's not true. If you notice the sneaky, deceitful way that the media portrays these things, they say Russia hacked the election and vice versa. They're Facebook bots. These are basically some people who are just sitting up in a house that has no affiliation with Russia, but they happen to be in the country, mailing in our election through Facebook ads. How much effect does that really have? How much influence does that really have on the election? And let's not forget that the totality of marketing and advertising on Facebook was for a lot of different politicians. You mean to tell me that some people in Russia that has no connection with the Russian government or purchase media ads space on Facebook on behalf of Trump, and also on behalf of Clinton, and also on behalf of some other candidates as well? But you use that to say that Russia spied on election, but they don't tell you that stuff. They don't tell you about the process charges that they gave Paul Manafort or Michael Flynn and things like that, and how they tried to set up George Papadopoulos and Carter Page. I mean, you hear these words I just told you, these names I just gave you. In the past, you heard them, and it made you feel a certain way, anti and negative. But if you dig into the history, this investigation was frivolous, man. It was $20 million, and that's why we have a new investigation investigating investigators that we have to keep an eye on, because a Biden administration who is culpable can actually kind of try to sweep under the rug. But luckily, T-Dog, the previous president, was able to make the special counsel special enough that they can't fire the attorney general for doing his investigation, or John Durham rather. So hopefully we'll see the effects of that. We'll see what happens. We'll see the end result. But right now it's been very kind of quiet, and we just got to watch out for that. But at the same time, like I said, I mean, you imagine a country getting hit with all that false information. You think they're gonna be friends with the administration that caused that kind of spin, the Biden administration? They're not, and there's nothing that we can really do about it. I mean, there's a lot of countries are kind of like looking at us sideways and see which way we're going to take on this. And like I said, this article is stating that pretty much that we can be embarrassed come Monday, and that that Russia holds all the cards, and they have a partner in China that's backing them financially. If you scroll down, I want to read some more. There's more detail down here. I want to skip a few paragraphs. I want to give you about the history of this right here. This paragraph right here kind of a little deceitful. The historically conscientious dynamic between the United States and Russia can, in many ways, be traced back to Putin's unilateral annexation of Crimea back in 2014. That was done by the administration, but it has been exacerbated by a range of other issues in the years since. The ongoing war in eastern Ukraine involving Kremlin-backed rebels, the Syria conflict, the Russian interference in U.S. elections, the Kremlin treatment of critics like Alexei Navalny or propping up a Belarus authoritarian leader. Sorry about that. And concerns over hacking and cybersecurity have been also driven a wedge between the two major powers. Now, if you look at that paragraph, like I can go through a list, like all that stuff has like a disclaimer to it. If you could scroll right back up a little bit more, my screen is gone. The ongoing war between eastern Ukraine involving Kremlin-backed rebels, that one could argue that was kind of started on the Democratic side when it came to the politics of Kremlin, when it came to the politics of Ukraine politics, where there was an attempted coup attempt on a Russian-backed leader, and it almost was successful. It was successful to the point where Russia had to annex Crimea and Uzbekistan. I don't know Uzbekistan, but it's hard to pronounce the other area of Ukraine that I'm referring to. But the people of that area wanted that because they saw what was happening in their local politics. So, but like I said, and Ukraine is like considered the bread basket of Europe. A lot of farming, a lot of fertile land, a lot of crops come from that country. A lot of exporting of fruits and vegetables come from that country. And also it's a major gateway for a pipeline that the Gulf Stream pipeline, which is also the major reason this is all kind of going on, supplying energy to Europe. And then you have the major port of Crimea, which is a great gateway opening, which Russia controls. So we're trying to keep our influence, it's a monopoly, and we're losing this battle. It all started in 2014 during the Obama administration, where they drew a red line. They were weak. Russia crossed that line. We did nothing about it. Obama supplied the Ukrainian troops with soft weaponry, gas masks, and things like that. And then Trump came through and gave them hardware, and it pushed Russia back. And Russia had to respect the United States. Like Trump said, no one's been harder on Russia except for Trump and his administration. We'll never believe anything differently. Now, you got to keep his distance because everybody thinks that he's working in cahoots with him. So, no, of course, you definitely got to show yourself as being hard on him. But he truly was, for the sake of the country, and in my belief, for the sake of the American people, putting America first. Not only that, I think he's trying to correct a lot of the past mistakes, and he's really trying to clear us out of this whole war policeman view, But like we're headed back towards that, man. We keep having these different interests, these different issues pop up, and we don't take the right common sense approach to them. I want to round this out. I want to close this out. I want to keep on talking about this. This is gonna make headlines come Monday, good or bad. This summit with President Putin. Finally, these two leaders finally meet. Finally, these two countries finally bump heads, and finally see if we can kind of get some kind of progress going and agreement going. We open it up now. Let's click on a few articles real quick before I close out. So then I want to talk about coming up on Monday. I want to bring up is you click on this next one right here, Wyatt. What's that one? Excuse me. Yeah, no, see, this is more of a cultural thing for me. Me being an African American male who's a Trump supporter. Again, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a conservative because I don't really believe in all the values, and I really don't like establishment Republicans and some of the leadership that are there. I do like some of the young Republicans, but I'm a Trump supporter. And I gotta speak my view on that. Like I said, it's not because I think like the group, I think he's a racist and all that. I voted for him because I like his leadership and I like his policy, and I think he's real genuine, and I think he really means what he says when he wants to back the American people and he wants to clean up Washington. And I'm glad to see that he's still in the background trying to make moves. But this article I came across actually, yesterday or this morning. Newly elected Republican Rep Byron Donalds goes viral on CNN exchange about racism and Trump. This gentleman, he's attempting to join the Black Congressional Caucus, CBC, and they won't let him in because of his views of supporting Trump. So he wants to know why, as a 42-year-old black man, why he can't come in and join the CBC, Congressional Black Caucus. And basically because he's a Trump supporter. That's what this article is about. And so on Monday, I want to headline and talk about, the struggles of black African-American males who support Donald Trump and how they can't get a voice, and how black America is not always Democrat and not always on that position. And we have valid reason not to do so. So, so jumping to the next article is another example. The constant tug of war. Democrats are in danger of losing their advantage with minority voters. And that's good for democracy. And like I said, I want to dig into that on Monday. We got to spread out and have more independent voices and viewpoints. We can't be pigeonholed and blocked. Voting into a group thing. So far too often, Black America has been taken advantage of policy-wise. Thinking something's going to be thrown our way the way we want it, and it's deceit. It's not even happening. And it's usually a Democrat that does it. Republicans, in my opinion, don't really care. They just care about making money, capitalists, policy, things like that. Slow trickle down effect is what they want to do. Let's move on to the next article. Like I said, these are all recaps what I'm planning on bringing to you on Monday at the Emos to Witness show. Georgia Democrats seize new power run for statewide offices. This is Stacey Abrams and her clan. I'm really dubbing Atlanta and Georgia the new California of the United States, or the California of the South. This has become more and more of a liberal mess, in my opinion, when it comes to the state and this city. I would never go to Atlanta. I never been to Atlanta. I drove through, even though my mom was born in Georgia. I just feel like they're going in the wrong direction as far as their policy and their trends and what they believe. And this lady right here is at the forefront of it. This is like a career loser, in my opinion. I mean, she lost the election. She's still in our face. How do you lose an election? And not only that, you're blaming them. You're trying to get President Trump to concede, and you don't even want to give up your own concession. And she still hasn't. And, she's done a lot of deceitful things to kind of win 2016 for Georgia, swing state. And a lot of laws were changed after that. Her sister's a judge, making big decisions that affect the country. There's definitely got to be some kind of bias there, But anyway, I want to talk about this as well on Monday. What's going on in local politics, statewide and nationally, and how both sides are gearing up for these upcoming elections. So the next article, here's even Obama. He's been back there, y'all, behind the scenes. Obama, right-wing media is stoking the fear and resentment of white Americans. These articles from Obama pop up every so often, where he's pushing the race card or the needle, where he's trying to get you riled up to think a certain way, push your emotions culturally, and all on the backs, all on the necks, and in the name of Republicans and white Americans. And no, we don't think that's fair. Like I said, there's definitely, issues we need to fix. But there's a lot of times Obama he race baits. All for the sake of power. This he does it so often. This is just America, or our politicians framing the narrative, getting ready for these upcoming elections, let you think a certain way and kind of pushing your hot buttons. Don't watch, man. There's gonna be another shooting in 2022 that's going to just galvanize the whole world and the whole country. We're going to be stuck on a George Floyd level, But, as long as there's progress, I guess it doesn't matter, right? But is there? Let's move on. The next article, and I think that, actually skip that one and go back to, they got that one, yeah. Let's go down a little bit. This is the one, man. Nope. I guess it's not up there, but there's another article about Trump and some of the political moves he's doing, and I'll bring it up on Monday. But that Mike Pence one, can you look on that? And this is the reason why I told you guys, and this is another reason why I explained because I'm not a Republican, because there's maneuvers and leaders in the Republican Party as well that are just as deceptive and deep state as any kind of Democrat can be. And Mike Pence, one may say he's right along that. His cards have been shown maybe in the 2020 election when he didn't use his senator tie vote to or even just some of the quotes he made as far as discrediting and lowering the review of the election results. I think he could have been more supportive of Georgia's party, in my opinion. So Mike Pence calls systemic racism a left-wing myth at a Republican convention. I don't know how I feel about that, but this is another example again of just Mike Pence and Republicans showing their true colors in a sense, and is a separation from the Trump administration or a Trump policy view. And this is also indication that Mike Pence plans to run for president. But look for those Trump leaders, those Trump supporters, those Trump campaign, those who run for office. I do see a Trump DeSantis ticket coming, or maybe in reverse. I don't know, but we got to watch it for some of the establishment Democrats and establishment Republicans, some of the things that they say and do, and we're starting to see where Mike Pence falls in line. Whether you like the man or not, he stood his ground. He was very supportive of the president throughout the tenure, but he showed his true colors at the end of it. And he's back, and he's shown his establishment ways and his policy viewpoints. And he could be right, he could be wrong. There's some merits to it, and there's some things where we're not quite there yet. And I think that there is some systemic racism in some areas of industry. And I think a lot of times it's really about the intention, right? It's really about the character of the individual, because you can still have favoritism, you can still have we call it the good old boy system. But I mean, if my uncle owns a construction business and I'm getting out of college and I want to be manager of a certain aspect of it, he's probably gonna give me the job. I mean, that's good old boy system favoritism. You can't really stop that. That's gonna happen. We see it all the time. In society, we see the son take over a head coaching job in a sport, But systemically, it's about the character, in my opinion. Who, are you deliberately just trying to keep a whole segment of society out of gaining employment, or are you just trying to help your cousin, get on his feet, So I think it does exist in certain industries in certain ways, and maybe I'm not clarifying it the best way as far as what it means, but it is an issue, and so like I said, but the whole example of this article is to show you that there is a difference between the two parties, and there's a difference between being a Trump supporter and being a Republican, and I'm definitely not a Republican. So yeah, this is What's to Witness, you guys. I want to thank you guys for being a part of this weekend show, Saturday Freestyle. This is the relaunch, and like I said, hit that like, subscribe button. Catch me live we'll figure it out, maybe every Tuesday and Friday. We have a lot of new things coming your way. The website's being launched, the way we reach out, the way we campaign, the way we market you guys. And like I said, we're growing as a show, and as we grow, we'll all become witnesses. We'll be able to hold these politicians and these leaders accountable in all sectors of society, and we'll make for a better future for all of us. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy this hot weather, and I'll see you guys next week with some brand new topics, some brand new issues, very insightful. Most to Witness, the Field Show, y'all. Saying what the fuck I look like.